Do you ever find yourself just really struggling with time?
Hey, there's some things you're missing. Check out this training. It's perfect timing for you. Have you ever had those moments where you say to yourself, I just don't have enough time?
I am never going to get it all done.
Yeah, or maybe you're blaming somebody else like, oh, that person's just wasting my time. You may need some help here about how to manage your time. Because if they don't, you're going to stress out on your family.
This is true.
You're going to stress out on them. It's going to be your husband's fault, your wife's fault, your kid's fault. And
you're going to blame and you're going to be irritated.
It just turns into a mess. And you're not very good at time management. So we're going to take a look at this of why you're having such a problem with managing time. Have you ever had issues with managing time?
A few times.
A few times. I think it's an ongoing evolution, of being able to get good at this. But maybe what they ought to do is consider you're going to start to focus on this. And you're going to start paying attention to what and how you're literally managing your time.
It's amazing with just a little bit of focus and intention, how you can begin to see some of the habits or the patterns that you do that are causing you to lose time, to waste time, to not be effective with your time.
And if you don't track and measure your time, you don't know when to say no.
That's a big one.
You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble.
When you think that you have all the time in the world, it is so easy to continue to say yes to this person and yes to this person and yes to this person. And all of a sudden you realize in a very short amount of time, you have a bunch of yeses that it is just literally not possible to accomplish in the amount of time that you've allotted for that.
Yeah, so let's look at this scenario here. You don't know how much time you really have in a day because you're not tracking it. So then you say yes to a bunch of things, and then now you're late, and now you offend people because of your timing issues.
And you're hurrying people along because
stressing them out.
Right, because you're not prepared in advance.
And then at the end of the day, you're frustrated because you said yes to all these people.
And you didn't get it all done.
And then it wears on you. Doesn't that just sound like a self-inflicted wound?
Yes.
I mean, that's just a beat yourself up, hurt yourself every day kind of a thing. All right, so what's happening here? Number one. Let's look at number one here on our chart here. We wrote down 3 things to really begin the process of managing your time. And the first one is to accurately schedule and watch your time. So what do you use? What do you do?
Well, what do I use? I have a calendar, and as I am saying yes to things, I immediately put them in my calendar, and I begin to put that on my to-do list so that I can start to see the things I've said yes to, and can I fit that all in? And so then if I have it on my calendar and I have it on my to-do list, then I know when the next person asks me to do something, I can be really realistic about the time. I may have to say, if I really want to say yes to that person, I may be able to say, I'd love to do that for you and with you, but it's going to need to be in a week, or it's going to need to be in 2 weeks, or maybe even a month or 3 months, because of the commitments I already have in place.
We right now, we have about the next year of our life pretty scheduled on a lot of major events that we're doing, just things that we're doing as a family and also as our company. And some family members, they asked us, they said, so, hey, next year, would you be able to do blah, 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 blah on such and such a day? We look at our calendar and we go, oh gosh, we can't make it. And in that moment, they're like looking at us like, what do you mean? How can you make a decision about this right now? It's like, because that's how far ahead we're literally looking at our calendar.
We've learned to do that, and it's made such a difference.
We said no.
Yeah.
Where to them, they're
thinking a year out. Are you kidding me?
They don't know what they're doing at that time, and so for us, we've had to learn that when we say no, we're not literally offending people. We're being accurate.
And I actually look at it as respectful. I'm respecting them, and I'm respecting myself by knowing that it's time for me to say a no. When I say yes too often, I find that I'm not respecting myself, and I'm not respecting that other person, and often I'm not respecting my family or other situations because I've said yes too many times, and then that all that other stuff, all the chaos happens in amongst all of the yeses, and then the respect level goes down.
Now, I recently, I got to a particular day that I had some things scheduled, and I looked at my calendar, and I literally looked at my calendar and went, what was I thinking when I planned this day? Like, seriously, what was I thinking? And sometimes we get into Superman or Superwoman type of attitudes, and we think like, oh yeah, I can start at 5 in the morning.
I can do this, and I can do this.
I can go all day long. It's like, oh man, so to really check in on your calendar and to evaluate it, as much as possible is going to help you learn how you're doing on making your decisions. So first, have a way to track it. Second, here on our chart, second one is you got to create some white space. A white space means there's nothing scheduled.
It means that's time for lunch, or that's time to just have some veg time.
Yeah,
or...
nothing. Because you put lunch in there, but you have white space where there's nothing.
Yes, you're right.
Nothing is in the calendar. And I don't know how you do this, but we've kind of tested and measured how long it takes an average time for an errand. So if Kim says, hey, I got about 4 errands to run.
And in my mind, it seems like those errands are so easy. That's going to be like an hour.
No. It's about 45 minutes per errand.
I have a little system, and I've done it enough that Kirk and I know that we can count on about 30 to 45 minutes per errand, depending, of course, where that is. And I write all my errands down on a piece of paper, and I literally track. I put the time. When I get done with an errand, I get back in the car and I write the time down, and I go do the next errand, and I get back in the car and I write the time down, and I do the next errand and I write the time down. And I've done that enough times to know that for our family, for us, it's about 45 minutes per errand. And that way, when I know I've got all these, maybe 5 or 6 random errands to do, I can calculate how much time that's going to take, and then I don't end up overscheduling myself and thinking I'm going to get all my errands done in an hour, and really it's going to take me 3 hours, and then now I'm late to this, and dinner's not done, and my family's waiting for me, and things like that happen. So it's really been awesome for us to have that little calculation. So as you begin to do different things that you do on a regular basis, and you calculate how much time that takes, it really helps you to know how to plan your day and plan your schedule.
The next time you go grocery shopping, before you leave the house,
write down the time.
Write down the time, and then when you come back and you're in your house, write down the time.
And then if you do that on a pretty regular basis, you'll begin to find out what it takes you to do your errands.
So that's a grocery store. Next one, hey, I'm going to go fill up the gas tank in the car. Just measure how long that takes. How long does it take? Really, how long does it take to take the kids to school and get back?
How much time does it take to get ready in the morning? How much time does it take to mow the lawn?
If you want to be better at time management, you have to track how long it takes to do things, because when you miscalculate, you are overpromising and you are causing yourself problems and stress that you don't really have to do. But have some white space between your activities on your calendar, because you're going to run into traffic, because you're going to run into problems in the store.
Things you didn't expect.
You are in the store and all of a sudden you realize, or you're doing your errand and all of a sudden you realized, oh, there's something else I'm supposed to do. But if there's not some white space between things, you are doing too many back-to-back, and you're going to not be successful in what you're doing.
Well, and then it causes you to burn out. You get burned out.
And what do people do when they burn out? They blame others. And your time management problems are your problems, not the family's problem. It's your problem. And so for you to solve this, you've got to track and use a calendar and create some white space. But we've got one more for you. It's not okay just to create a calendar for the week and then assume that all week long it's going to go as scheduled.
Because things always change.
Yeah.
Things are always adjusting.
You're going to need to review it in the morning, and you're going to need to review it in the evening, at least those 2 different times. At least those 2 different times. Because if we don't coordinate at least twice a day, in the morning and the evening, she's adjusting the calendar, I'm adjusting the calendar, and we're going to be off. in what's happening.
One of my favorite things to do is before I go to bed at night, I really go over my calendar for the next day. I look at my to-do list. I look at what's important, my goals, what's important in my life. And I look at, the day and is my day structured the way I want it to be structured for the next day? And I look at the things I want to get accomplished and what's top priority in my life. And then when I go to bed that night, I'm not waking up in the morning wondering what's first for me to do. I already know because I've already kind of made a plan that night before, and I've already been thinking about it. I've already been processing how all those things are going to work out. I've already been processing the different people I need to, get in contact with or whatever. And it just really makes a difference when you look at that the night before, before you go to bed.
And our last thing here is when you have a problem happen with your timing and your schedule, back up a little bit and rethink what happened there. If you don't uncover the problems of what you caused in that scheduling, you're not going to know what to fix. But really, getting better at time management really is a personal experience. As long as you keep blaming kids, spouse, friends, neighbors, coworkers, employees for your timing issues, you're not going to see where the adjustments need to be made. But these 3 simple steps are going to help you in having some progress and being better at time management.
Because when you're better at your time management, you feel so good and you feel confident. And I feel like you actually accomplish a lot more in your life because you're managing your time.
Get after it. It's worth it.
I hope that you're going to try one of these techniques we just taught you. Just write down in the comments below. Let us know what you're going to try.
Now, you also want to check out our description down here below because you want to get involved with our website. We know what we're doing and we want to help you get your life up to that next level.
Definitely.